I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So,
I mean, I can explain it. It's very similar to the concept of mansplaining, right? Where you're basically attacking a person's identity. You're attacking the way the person is born, and you're basically saying that they're irrational. So you're going to not even take into consideration any of the arguments that they're making. It's like, well, of course they're making these arguments. They're a man. Like, they will never understand, right? So it's mansplaining. It's the same concept with white rage. Like notice that we don't have a concept for when you have the BLM protests, which caused billions of dollars in damages, which got people out of a job. You wouldn't go out and you say that that is black rage or anything like that, right? Because that wouldn't be politically correct. But when you have anyone else doing stuff, oh, you have terms. You know what's interesting? When you look at American history, especially the history that we're trying not to reproduce, you notice that there also used to be a term called drapetomania. And it was considered to be a mental illness by American physician Samuel A. Cartwright. So Samuel believed that slavery was such an improvement upon the lives of the individuals that were slaves that the concept of running away from a plantation was like a mental illness. It was drapetomania. Again, like, this is on Wikipedia. You can find it out, right? So it comes from the word Greek, which draptis means a runaway slave, and mania, madness, frenzy. Right? So this is part of what the Wikipedia considers to be scientific racismus.
I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend?
It's so nice to have a general that is well versed in Marxism. I mean, what can be more American? And I understand his point. No, I really do. It's like, well, just because he reads it doesn't mean he is influenced by it while talking about white rage. I mean, sure. Imagine if you were to go up there and start to say, look, I read Mein Kampf, I read Himmler, I read Benito Mussolini's fascist manifesto. That doesn't mean that I'm a fascist. But hey, you know what? I'm sure this is why the military is getting diversity officers, to teach the general how to be more inclusive, how to be more welcoming to new recruits, and to stop discriminating based on race. I remember it used to be like, there's no white or black here, we're all green Marines. You know, maybe the general needs to read some of those books. But in the meantime, let's look at how competent the military is. Because, I mean, that's what's important, right? Like, maybe you have just one general that's saying, like, bizarre stuff. But it's the U.S. military. It has to be competent, right? Well, apparently, according to CNN, the United States left behind $7 billion of military equipment in Afghanistan after the 2021 withdrawal. It's a big yikes, right? Apparently, it is profitable to be invaded by America. Like, you actually make money when America invades you, huh? But, hey, it happens. I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. You're not going to be able to turn time back. So, at least you can hold the people responsible to account. At least you can get some justice done in order to show that, well, the U.S. military doesn't fuck around. Like, if you make mistakes, you're going to be punished. So, make sure that you're not making mistakes in the future. So, the question is, who got punished for enriching the Afghanistani people? Well, one person did. From this whole debacle, one person did get punished. It was a Marine which got dishonorably discharged for criticizing the Afghanistan withdrawal. So no one else from the top brass, no other person got punished for the billions of dollars that they left into the hands of people that a week before they were calling terrorists. Like, that is, well, big whoopsie, no one to blame. This guy, however, here's the problem. And he got discharged. Dishonorably so, by the way. What message are they sending, though? That in the US military, if you manage to climb the ranks, you can escape any type of accountability? And if a soldier talks against you, you can immediately punish them, even if he's right. No, because I get it. Like as a soldier, you're not supposed to flap your mouth like that. No, I understand. But what I don't understand is like, why wasn't anyone else besides him being reprimanded? Because I'm pretty sure that as an officer, you need to make sure that the equipment doesn't fall into the hands of the enemy. Still, apparently, no one can be held accountable. We don't know what happened. It was the fog of war. I read it from a fact checker. I think it was Snopes. It was the fog of war. You can't just fog of war is fog of war. It comes over the military equipment and it goes away. Due to this and many other things, the U.S. military is now at the smallest size in 80 years, with enlistment hitting new low. And it's not due to the fact that we live in very peaceful times, mind you. Like, there is a conflict in Eastern Europe, which I'm pretty sure the media informed you. There is a conflict in the Middle East, which I'm also pretty sure the media informed you. Things aren't looking great with Taiwan either. I mean, the Chinese are doing exercises next to Taiwan. Although, they're doing this almost on a yearly basis, so who knows? They'll take into account the Russians also did exercises next to Ukraine. And while this is happening, the U.S. military is at the smallest in size. And again, no one is held accountable for this. This is not apparently due to political decisions. It's just that all of a sudden, for some mysterious reason that no one can fathom as to why, people are just not signing up. Also, if we turn back time a little bit, you guys would remember that as soon as Biden took office, there were people on the internet claiming that he's doing military purges by going on the social media of soldiers to see if they have like political leanings that the Biden regime disagrees with. I don't know if any soldiers got sacked over that, but what I do know is that they did get sacked over the vaccine, right? So like in the United States, you have like this idea that if you are part of certain religions and you have like certain religious beliefs, you can even be excused from participating in the draft. So like, I think it was like Quaker or something like that. Like, there's various like religious denominations like Amish and stuff. And basically, like you have religious people that say that they don't want to kill under any circumstance. So like, they do not serve in the military. But when it comes to the Pfizer communion, when it comes to the Pfizer communion, you either take it or you get discharged. And I remember like back then, a lot of soldiers benefited from that. It's basically like threatening them with a good time. You're pretty much saying, hey, if you don't take it, then, you just go home, and it's like a lot of soldiers were like, oh shit. But there are also soldiers that did it for ideological reasons. Despite all of the social media censorship, it still got into the public mind that, hey, if you join the U.S. military, they can just stick you with shit. They can just stick you with shit. And if you have, like, religious convictions or you don't agree with what they're sticking you, tough. I remember a lot of people didn't like that. I even had a subscriber that wanted to join the military, and when he saw that, like, literally, just because seeing that was enough to dissuade him. So yeah, when you look at the clusterfuck that they managed to do, like you have this culture of wokeness that is pushing for scientific racism. You have the level of incompetence that doesn't even allow for accountability amongst the officers. You have the culture in America where both the left and the right dislike their country. The left dislikes their country because they believe it is a systemic, racist, misogynistic culture that is oppressing people. So, like, why would you want to help that culture expand its influence in the world? And the right believes that, well, the government is going to try to shut down their business, raise their taxes, make their life even more difficult. So, like, why would they help it, right? So, like, the culture is not encouraging any form of patriotism. The culture is not encouraging any form of unity. In fact, they view unity as fascism. They view the Pledge of Allegiance as fascism. Like, look what the American press is saying about that. Just Google it and you'll see. So with all that put together, is it any surprise that the military is now at the smallest size in 80 years? And do you honestly think that there's any hopes with raising the numbers. I predict, and this is just what I think, I've got no evidence, but I wouldn't be surprised if the American administration says, all right, well, if you're an illegal citizen and you serve in the military, you are going to get citizenship. And that may be like a path to citizenship that would allow people to vote. So I genuinely think we may see that in the future. I don't know, but it will be interesting to see if I'm right or not. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, though, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.